Hi there and welcome to Parenting Village's Collaborative Chat series. Parenting Village is a program of Jewish Family Services and a nonprofit organization serving caregivers adjusting to parenthood through peer support. I'm Parenting Village board member Kara Juszczak, and our chat series is a result of unfortunately having to cancel our largest annual event this year. And so in an effort to preserve the educational and fundraising part of our Family Fest, we will first chat, and then you'll hear about some ways you can help Parenting Village. I'm here with Lindsey Macaluso, clinical social worker and registered play therapist, and our topic today is the power of play. Hello there, Lindsey.
Hi, thanks so much for having me.
Thanks for being here. We're going to talk about play, and I know you're a registered play therapist and an expert in this area, so I would love for all the families that are listening to hear a little bit about how we keep things interesting with our kids. I think we underestimate the power of play, so whatever you have to offer us today would be great. So let's start out with, why is play so important for young children?
Yeah, so play is one of my favorite topics to talk about. So play promotes healthy brain development in young children. Through play, children engage and interact with the world around them. You know, if you go to any grocery store right now, I know it's a different world we're living in, but kids want to touch things. They want to have things, they want to smell things, they want to explore and walk around. And so in any environment, play is really the way in which they interact with the world, and they learn about themselves and others.
Yeah, and it's interesting that you see that, because I don't think of touching and smelling as play, but really that is the way that they're learning.
That's right. Engaging all their senses through play is really one of the things that I do in the work with children.
Yeah, tell me a little bit more about that. How do you use play as like a therapy approach?
Yeah, so when I first decided I wanted to be a play therapist, I think I was naive to say, like, it's going to be so fun. Like, play is just so much fun, right? So being a play therapist must be so much fun. And it really is so much fun, but it's also work, right? So play therapy isn't just play. As founding play therapist Gary Landreth says, toys are children's words and play is their language. And so when we're working with adults in therapy, most of it's talking, right? But we can't expect that same thing from children. And so play therapists see toys as words and play as language. And so play therapists give children the space to tell their story, and we're trained to understand what that means through play.
Yeah, great. And so what kinds of needs or struggles might kids have that would benefit from play therapy as an approach?
So I primarily work with children that have experienced trauma or some type of distress in their life. But I also see kids that have some symptoms of anxiety or feeling sad, kids that have sensory difficulties. So really, play therapy, if a child's between the ages of 2.5 to, we'll say, 10 to 12, play therapy can be a very useful modality for any presenting concern, really.
And so I know we can also be intentional about how we use play outside a therapy office. You don't have to be a therapist to use play. So how can parents use play and kind of get creative and really be intentional about using play at home?
Yeah, so I'll go back to the example of being in the grocery store, and you think about a young child, even before living in a pandemic, we keep our children structured and controlled. And so there's a lot of no touching, stay in the cart, keep your hands in the cart, no, don't touch that, like, come over here, where are you going, right? So just thinking about how we structure kids and young children in particular, and play, and that's really necessary in a lot of environments. But play gives an opportunity for parents to really follow the child's lead. And so allowing that child to have time to be the leader and entering a child's play as the follower and not the leader, I think is one of the best things parents can do. I think parents often have, and not just parents, adults often have this urge to teach. And so if a child holds up, you know, an object and says, "What's this?" The first thing we want to do is tell them what it is, right? But play gives the opportunity to allow the child to decide what that object is going to be, to really get creative and give them the space to be the leader in play. I think can really be wonderful for children's development and growth, but also for the parent-child relationship.
Yeah, and you used the word explore before. And I think that's such a natural tendency of children. And we often, as you said, I think as parents, and I can admit to this as well, we want to like, you can only explore this far.
Yeah, right.
But really, really learning, I feel like I've learned a lot from my children if I let them explore, right?
Yeah.
Instead of telling them where they can go and where they can't. So if you were going to give us, as parents, there we go. If you were going to give us as parents this summer, thinking about the families watching this have young children, give us a few ideas of where can we take our kids, or what kinds of situations can we create where they can explore and we can follow and let them lead. What would you recommend?
Yeah, so this, I would say I have a couple of parents that I'm working with that are camping in the yard. And so finding a space, even if you're not campers, you don't have a tent and all of that, but just finding space in the yard to be able to hang out in a new way can be really fun. Scavenger hunts have been a real exciting thing that I've been doing with some of the parents I work with and their kids. So making a list of things that the kid needs to go find, whether that be inside the house or outside of the house, and build a fort. There's so many opportunities to connect in old ways that some kids have never even had the opportunity to do, the things that maybe we did when we were young. So I would say do a scavenger hunt, build a fort, and go out in the yard and maybe even sleep out there if you're brave enough.
Awesome. Awesome. And, you know, some of those require that we kind of slow down and just let things unfold. And I know we've felt kind of the rush of having to figure things out and take care of everyone. And so even just slowing down would probably present more opportunities as well. So thank you so much, Lindsey, for your knowledge and expertise. And for really helping us kick off this first collaborative chat. This is a series, again, of many virtual events that are going on to acknowledge the cancellation, unfortunately, of our 8th annual Family Fest. But we've been very creative in trying to continue to support and connect families to our services, but we are still in need of funds to keep that going. Our Nurture and Circles programming are offered free to participants, allowing them to benefit from peer support whenever they might need it. So in order to staff and train those programs, we need your help. Please consider supporting Parenting Village by clicking the donate button on our Facebook page or visiting our website at parentingvillage.org/donate. This series is part of a larger Lemonade Stand campaign with family-friendly events happening in July and August. So stay tuned on Facebook. We're going to update our Lemonade picture and see how much money we might be able to raise to keep us going. So don't miss out on some of these cool opportunities. We're having to do everything creatively and differently. So it should be fun. We're hoping to make that fun. So thanks again, Lindsey, and everyone stay well. Thanks so much.
Thanks.